Hey guys, what's up? It's Parsifal, I also go by Will, and I am back with another topic video. This is old footage. Once again, you can see that it has the Photoshop logo on it, so this is old footage from 2019 that I found when I transferred my files to my new computer, so I figured I would put a topic video over it. This is my OC Holly. I have her because I would like to try and practice drawing more chubby figures, and so I have her. She was designed by my friend Rowan on a doll maker, and I figured I would keep her around so I can practice her figure and drawing more chubby bodies. But that actually is related to my topic, which I'll admit is probably gonna look a little bit clickbaity from the title, but it's not entirely untrue. So if you read the title, you probably already know that this is going to be a topic video about Pinterest. I hate Pinterest. I do not hate people who use Pinterest. People who use Pinterest are fine. People who use Pinterest for whatever reason are fine. I don't dislike anyone who uses it. I just don't like it for myself, and I don't really like the website. And part of the reason is related to the art that I'm drawing of Holly, who is she's a chubbier, full-bodied figure, and she's also clearly dark-skinned. But I will get into that. So, Pinterest. If you don't know, Pinterest is a website that a lot of people use for collecting and collating images. That you can take a bunch of images and put them on different image boards and basically have a collection of images for inspiration or whatever you need them for. A lot of people use them for weddings, use them for decoration, use them for theming things. I've heard people use it to collect recipes. It's basically it's kind of like a more image-based Tumblr, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it because, admittedly, I don't use it as much as someone who's more fluent in it is. And the reason I don't use it is, again, because I'm not super fond of it. Part of the reason is that for an image search website, because you can search through Pinterest to find other images that are related to what you're looking for and then put them in your inspiration board, and it has like a whole image search function with a bunch of tags and stuff like that. You can search through the the Pinterest image website and find stuff, but the issue is that it's got a very specific aesthetic. You might have heard people call something a Pinterest aesthetic, or say like about I think I've heard the insult Pinterest is not a personality, or say someone is a Pinterest girl. And this generally is a statement about Pinterest's specific leanings on their image functionality in terms of their search features. Pinterest is very much like Instagram in that it's got a very specific sort of tendency to lean towards white, thin, femme, floral, pretty light fashion type of surface aesthetics. It's not impossible to find other looks and other differentiations on there, but you do have to like search for them. So if you were to search like Gothic Lolita, you could find that, but most likely a lot of the models are going to be pale-skinned and super high femme and thin. You would have to search like chubby Gothic Lolita or black Gothic Lolita if you wanted to find something different than the thin, white, hyper femme aesthetic. And this isn't a bad thing inherently. Of course, like, it's going to reflect a lot of the people who are using it and a lot of the beauty standards of the people who use it and what people want to see. And this isn't a statement that these things are bad inherently. A lot of these things like fairy lights or sparkly makeup, star-related fashion, all of these things are popular and potentially quote-unquote basic bitch, but they're basic because they're popular. a lot of people like them. So, of course, these things are going to be reflected because a lot of people who are using this sort of site are going to be using it for, again, things like weddings or room decoration or world building for stories, and they're going to be kind of looking for similar things. You're not really going to find a lot of army fashion on there, for example, or hyper mask stuff, because generally cis guys who aren't in the military aren't going to be going on Pinterest and making a army mood board for army aesthetics or something like that. So it's very much like Instagram. It reflects the people using it and reflects their tastes. But it does mean that it is sort of not super diverse in its portrayals, and has the same sort of issue that Tumblr kind of had at one point slash has, where it's and that also, as I said, Instagram has, where it's just primarily going to be attractive white thin folk, and you're not going to really see much else of that. So that's part of the reason that I don't particularly like it, but that isn't a reason not to use it, because I also use Tumblr. The second issue that I have with it is it super clogs search functions. If you're looking for something on Google, Pinterest is going to be showing up on every single page unless you specifically tell Google to leave it out. This is a big issue when you're trying to search for the source of a picture that you're looking for and it's on Pinterest, but Pinterest is not the source of the image. Pinterest is most likely never going to be the source of the image. I don't actually know if you can upload things to Pinterest specifically. I don't know. But, yeah, it clogs up search functions, and it makes it harder to find things that are not on Pinterest, because Pinterest shows up everywhere and, like, on every single page. And that's just annoying. And then, I did mention this briefly, Pinterest the last issue that I have with Pinterest is that it's got a crediting problem. It's not as bad as it used to be, but because of the fact that Pinterest allows people to pin things from different websites via a desktop extension or the mobile URL, it causes a lot, this is what causes a lot of the image clogging when you're searching on Google for images. You can find stuff via the tags on there, and generally it's supposed to have a link back to the source on Pinterest. They do have on the pages, they do have a link where you can go to the source, but really, because it shows up in search functions before the original source, people often use it for, I know a lot of teenagers use it for creating mood boards, and they, create mood boards and get the images off of Pinterest, and then they don't credit it. Or Pinterest, doesn't always require, a link to a specific website. It could just be a direct image link, and if it's a direct image link, you're not gonna super be able to find what the source is. I actually have a Pinterest account specifically so that I have a board there, so I can find my own stuff on Pinterest and put it on the board. Which is the other thing, is that it doesn't alert you that your stuff has been pinned, because it's URL based, and obviously you can't do that, but it also, I didn't upload any of my stuff to Pinterest, and yet I still found it on Pinterest. And as an artist, that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. It makes me feel really weird that I don't have control over where my stuff goes. And obviously, I know realistically I'm never going to have control of where my stuff goes on the internet, because it's the internet. But it's still a little bit disconcerting, and if I can, avoid that happening, I would like that to not happen. And just the fact that Pinterest makes it so easy for you to take someone else's URL and stick it in there and then pin it there, and then maybe it shows up on a search engine and gets 10 times more feedback on Pinterest than it does on your actual website. It's real weird. I'm not super fond of it. I don't personally like it, and so I don't really like Pinterest. I do super understand the function of Pinterest, and I think it's really cool. I like the concept of having a singular place to put all these aesthetics and inspirations for characters, for concepts, for world building, for redesigning your room, for what you want your college dorm to look like. I think that's really cool, and it's a way for people to express themselves creatively, even if they aren't a artist who draws things or makes music or anything like that. Um, I think having visual libraries of things is very important, especially with fashion, which Pinterest is very good at. You can have collections and visual libraries of specific types of fashion that you like for Lolita or elegant gothic Lolita or cyberpunk or like cottagecore. You can have all these boards with these things, so you have a large visual library of things to look at when you're trying to get like ideas for what you want to do. But again, the issue is you have all these things, but you don't know whether they're, in public domain. You don't know if one of them is like a copyrighted design from someone. You don't know if it's like someone's Etsy design that they put somewhere and then you're copying it, because who knows who put that link there, who knows where it came from, and people don't usually check sources. Um, so I like the concept of Pinterest, but I don't like Pinterest. So what are some alternatives? Well, I used to use Tumblr blogs, but those also aren't great for sourcing images. Also, Tumblr is like really difficult to use currently because of the lack of people on it these days, and so there's a lack of new images coming in. Uh, it's also not very good for sourcing either, because people can just upload the images without as raw images without having a source. So it's not any better than Pinterest is in terms of sourcing, and is in fact debatably worse, because who knows where it came from. Um, but I did like the ability that I had to organize things into Tumblr blogs and tag things and all of that. It was also multimedia, so I could also put videos on there. I could put images. I could put vines on there. It could be music and audio. It could be text posts, poetry, quotes, anything like that. So I liked that aspect of it, but it's not super functional these days, and I would not recommend it. My friend and mentor Taloka Berry uses a custom Word document with links and tables, and it's very cleanly organized. It's great for pictures. It's great for keeping links, because you can put the link in and then also put the image in, so you can keep it sourced. It looks very clean and organized. It's fantastically beautiful, and I really loved her layout. And I love the idea of using a Word document for it. But that's not super accessible to everyone. I do hear that she is considering putting the template out at some point in the future, but I cannot promise anything because I am not her, and it would primarily be for patrons. So it's not super open source, and it's not super accessible to everyone. But it's a fantastic idea, and I would love to see it used more often if people can figure out ways to do it in ways that they like. My personal current alternative is that I currently collect links and images and quotes and stuff in a personal Discord server with different channels named after different characters. Because the way I use my boards is I collect things and inspiration for characters. So if I want to make a board for my character Detivo, I make a new channel on my Discord server, I name it Detivo Kane, and then I stick whatever I want in there. So this is going to be image links, text posts. It keeps the source because I can see where the image comes from if I just make sure I post the URL link. I can put quotes in there from books by just typing it in and then make sure I quote the book. It's possible I can put videos and music in there because I can just upload the file to Discord. I can put my own images in there, and it's not super public, but it is a fantastic idea, and it's what's been working for me personally, because a lot of my boards are private and just for my resources and access. And this is an idea I got from my friend Caspor _ on Instagram. And I think that it works fantastically because it means that I have the visual references for my characters and the visual libraries. But honestly, like, none of these are going to be fantastic for any sort of alternative. Really, like, Pinterest has a very like niche sort of usage for a lot of people that it's really hard to replicate. And so I don't blame anyone who uses it, and I think it's a really cool website. I just have a lot of problems with it, so I don't like it and I don't use it. But if you do, that's great. Honestly, I would love to hear more. Tell me about your opinions on Pinterest in the comments. Do you like Pinterest? Do you not like Pinterest? What are reasons that you do or don't like it? Do you wish that you could see more diversity on Pinterest, or do you have any problems finding specific things that you're looking for on Pinterest? How do you feel about, if you're an artist, your work being pinned on Pinterest without you being told? Let me know in the comments. I'm really interested about this because I want to know what people think. And also, if you have any alternatives to Pinterest that I haven't listed, because I only have 3, please let me know. I would love to hear more. I will also mention that in terms of like mood boards sourcing images, I personally use Unsplash, which is an open source image website. It doesn't let you collect things as well as Pinterest does, but it does allow you to pick open source, free to use images to specific folders on it, and all the stuff there is open source and free to use. So I think it's really cool to find. So if that's something that you're looking for, there's that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm very curious. Otherwise, I will send you guys to the outro. See ya!
Well, that's the end of this video. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, or contact me on any of my social media, which is linked in the description below. I also have my Patreon there if you guys want to throw a monthly donation at me. Thanks so much for your support. I'll see you next time. Bye!